For my next marathon in Chicago, we are trying something completely different. It's a little bit of a risk, but it could give me a huge breakthrough, or I could completely crash and burn. Instead of your typical marathon build approach of weeks of consistently ticking off 2 workouts that week and a time on feet easy long run, this week, and for several other weeks of this marathon build, I'm going to be running 3 hard workouts in the week and a long run with a push at the end of it. And that's all in the space of 7 days. And one of those workouts is something that I have never done before, let alone in a marathon training block. But the word from my coach is it's going to be something we're using more and more. And I actually think some of you might want to try this as well. Oh, and I'm also running 115 miles across the week. More intensity, more pressure, and some might say a bit of a gamble as well. Why would I take that risk? What do those sessions even look like? How is it possible to up the ante like this and still recover? And more importantly, will I survive the week? Buckle up, grab some popcorn, and let's find out. And if you're new here, hit subscribe to see if this all pays off when I race the Chicago Marathon on the 12th of October in the pro field of my 3rd marathon major. Before I get into the full week, exactly what these 3 workouts are, where they fit into my week, and how this is even possible, a blueprint of my training week, if you will. 115 miles in 1 week. The workouts are on Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. The long run is on Sunday. That means on the remainder of those days, Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, testing me there, I'm running easy. Most of the time I'm running twice. I'll run once on the Wednesday and once on the Sunday because that's a really long run. And I'm doing my gym sessions on Wednesday and Saturday. Sounds pretty easy, right? Now, if you've watched the channel for a while and followed my last few marathon blocks, you'll know that a pretty staple week for me is that classic, predictable marathon block of 2 workouts and a long run. Sometimes the long run becomes the workout, and so you kind of lose that middle workout, and maybe you do some strides in the middle. But that's been my bread and butter. So why are we changing this now? John sat me down at the start of this block and said, for a decent chunk of this build, we are going to be doing 3 workouts a week. And I'm not going to lie, I thought he was out of his mind. How can I effectively increase the amount of sessions I'm doing per week by 50%, going from 2 to 3? So I said, oh, okay, are we going to turn the long run each week into a workout? Maybe, but that's not the 3rd workout. There's gonna be 3 workouts in addition to that. I was like, right, okay, got it, cool. Why? And how? Why we're doing this? I need to get better. I need to get faster. There's competition that I want to be hanging with who are leagues ahead of me, and this is an attempt to close the gap to those people. The idea is to increase the training stimulus, get an extra few percent of intensity in my week, so that translates into an adaptation and boosting fitness. And the how is by keeping the impact low enough to stay on the right side of that delicate overtraining line, because ultimately we're all human. This only works if I can recover. I'm going into this full well knowing that it's an experiment. John knows that, I know that, and I've agreed to it. And whilst I did freak out a little bit when he first pitched it to me, because I thought, Jesus, John, sometimes I can't recover from 2 workouts in a week, let alone 3, it does make sense. The whole idea of this is to increase intensity, but without sacrificing quality or recovery. And I know, the margin for error is small. So to kick us off for workout number 1 of the week on Tuesday, we've got a classic steady state or tempo run. I've got 6 to 7 miles straight through, or roughly 10 to 12 point something kilometers, sitting right at the end of that threshold zone. This is what people refer to as LT2, where your lactate is building to a point where you can just about clear it, but it don't feel good. So up here on Lake Mary, it's adjusted for altitude, and John said looking at sort of 550 to 605 pace, and I'll just make a judgment call as to how I feel, whether I do 6 or 7, just same pace the whole way through today. Sometimes I'll have like a little bit of a press on the front end or the back end or both, but just a standard, probably like 35 to 40 minute hard run today on Lake Mary Road.
All right, let's get it.
The paces are obviously adjusted slightly for altitude, but the training effect is the same. My heart rate should be in the exact same place that it would be for this same session at sea level, even though I'd be running faster. And this type of workout, it really is a marathon staple. You're training your body to be able to sustain a strong rhythm under fatigue. It's not glamorous, but it is a cornerstone session. If you can feel smooth and controlled during this, it's a really good sign for marathon fitness. Obviously, the real test for this week is going to be hitting this session and then being able to recover from it to do 2 more later on in the week, and still be hitting the paces, and still be able to run a long run afterwards. And I'll probably see how I feel. It's 6 to 7.
Yeah.
So I might go out 4 if I feel okay, and then part of it can just be a cool down if it needs to be. But then I think I'll miss the last hill on the way back. If I do 4 out, 3 back.
Okay. All right, let's get this, baby. You got it.
Steady states like this can be sneaky hard, and there's no broken up reps to focus on or to kind of chunk the session down, so it's challenging both physically and mentally. But it's a bit like the marathon. One long hard effort, often you go through a journey of feeling good and bad at different times, and so it's pretty good practice at grinding it out. That might be the best I've ever felt on a Lake Mary steady state. It didn't really faze me today. Like, it was hard in the last mile and a half, but like, I could have done 8 if I had to. I just pressed a tiny bit on that 7th one, so I'm really happy with that.
What are we doing today?
We're doing some running.
Yep. Where are you running?
Where?
Up there.
Right here. I'm running up a small, gentle hill.
Okay.
That's what you gotta tell yourself. Manifest. It's the opposite of psyching yourself out. Psyching myself in. 6.5 miles, which, depending on your form of measurement, is 3/4 of the way up that mountain in distance, because it's only like another, like 2 miles to the top. But in elevation, okay, the last 2 miles are steeper. I think distance is the measurement. Therefore today I'm running 3/4 of the way up a mountain from the base, which is here.
And I am cycling up with an e-bike, but the question is...
Will he be strong enough even with the help of a battery?
No, will the battery last? Because there is a throttle on this bike because we're in the US and that's legal. So I'm going to see how little I can pedal and just ride up and see if the battery lasts. If it doesn't, no idea what's going to happen. Gonna have to coast all the way down.
You're just gonna roll backwards.
Yeah.
It's 8:15, 8:35, 9:02.
Starting around 7:20, 7:30, and then it just.
You add 20 seconds.
It just slips basically.
Yeah.
Well, that's like.
I don't know what
50
the fuck happened
seconds.
there, but
32.
Oh, well, I guess
it flattens out.
that 6 mile is like.
The 5th mile will be the slowest. 9:02 to beat. That was my slowest mile last time. It's pretty rapid. 9:02. That's why this is going to look very underwhelming and unimpressive, and I'm so excited for that. I think John should do what he did last time and jump in with me, because that would be more entertaining on camera, honestly, to see how long John lasts. Doing 6x running with Phily on the hill.
Yes, but I also realize if I make it sound like I'm working harder, you think, oh, he's actually not like...
That's absolute bullshit.
Ask Jessa.
You progressively get worse to the point where I'm like, John, I want you to stop because this is off-putting.
Jesus Christ, it's not that fucking bad.
The two words used in conjunction, uphill, tempo, really scared me when John said that we were first introducing these. But to be fair, it's not actually as brutal as it sounds.
You sure about that?
If you get it right. Like me, you might have heard uphill and thought intense. Whereas actually, if this session feels pretty intense, it's overkill, and you're riding on the wrong side of that very fine line. This one isn't an all-out threshold effort. The aim is to keep this very deliberately aerobic, and I suppose there's a bit of a language difference here. This is more comparable to what we would call a steady run back in the UK. For some reason, in the US, the terminology for a steady run is a tempo, whereas what I, from the UK, would call a tempo is what we do as a steady state here. A little bit confusing. Anyway, for the entirety of this uphill tempo effort, I'm trying to hold my heart rate at around 160 to 165 beats per minute, which is roughly 10 beats per minute lower than what it would be for a classic kind of threshold reps on the flat session. Remember, we're running uphill, so the paces are wildly different. So in this instance, we're working more at LT1, building strength, building aerobic capacity, but crucially keeping it controlled enough so that I can actually absorb the rest of the week and not die in a heap on Friday.
Battery is still holding out. It is on full bars, and this is definitely not the steepest bit. All right, we're nearly 3 miles, and we have dipped down 1 bar of battery, which, that's a bit earlier than I was expecting it to, so we could be in for a treat later on. We are down to half battery. We'll see how far I get, but it could be touch and go at the end.
This workout in a week of 3 workouts is really the bonus workout. This is the extra layer. It's the day that previously I'd have normally had an easy run or 2. What it's doing is adding to my aerobic development by sitting in that LT1 zone. That's going to help build endurance and increase efficiency without tipping into high fatigue. And the really cool part is the fact that this is all uphill means that the mechanical stress on both my joints and my muscles is massively reduced compared to the same effort in the same zones for the same length of time on flat ground, because gravity. Isn't science cool? So the key thing to take away here is it's controlled aerobic training. It's not redlining, it's not as hard as threshold reps, provided I hold back and I'm not greedy. So the theory is I shouldn't be wrecked for workout 3 tomorrow or for the long run on Sunday. That's the theory.
Good job, Phily.
You ran way faster, right?
Yeah, like 3 minutes.
There you go. That's
No 9s
a lot.
today.
That's a lot.
You're not grabbing the rock either.
Nico, how was your first?
Oh man, it was really good. I looked at my watch to see where the hardest part was, and it was 4.4 miles, and it felt like it lasted the whole way. So after that, but it was good, man.
So good.
I'm proud. Yeah.
Rory?
Similar to last time.
Nice.
Similar pace and everything, is just my legs were a little bit more tired because we're deeper into marathon training.
Nice.
Definitely more tingle.
Ooh, my spider sense is tingling.
Yeah,
I was stoked you didn't come past me till what, like 4?
I was like right at 4. Right around 4.
I thought he caught you quick.
No, last week was like, last time was like
Last
2
time I caught him
miles.
at like 2.
We also
caught her
added
at 2.5.
a couple minutes. So.
We did 5 the
5.
first time. This time we did
is 6:20.
6:20. So another minute 20.
But then I was 3 minutes faster, so.
Yeah. So it took me a lot longer to get to you.
How was that then?
It was really good. I'm not gonna say I was like having fun the whole time, but I actually enjoyed it this week. I think because 2 weeks ago, which was my first time doing it, I was just kind of like, it was an unknown the whole time. So I was kind of waiting to feel horrendous the whole time, and I obviously had never done it before. I just want to find it and compare. So today I covered it in 51 minutes and 26 seconds. And 2 weeks ago I covered it in 54:31. So average today was 7:57. Last time was 8:26. But effort pace is obviously different because you're going uphill and we're climbing altitude. I'm really happy with that. It's a nice 2-week kind of fitness check, and it's nice to feel good. I mean, my legs were heavy from the gym yesterday, but yeah, we're building something. And I also just want to mention and reassure you that every week when it gets to this Thursday workout, we are making a decision as to whether I am recovered and ready to go into it. If I'm too fatigued, it doesn't happen because, well, that's the prerequisite for this to work. So whilst, yes, it is a risk, we are still being sensible. Time for workout number 3 of the week, which means we've made it to Friday, guys. Great success. Friday's workout was on the track and it was 22 to 26 by 400 meters. All of those are off 50 to 60 seconds recovery. And what you'll notice here is we have a range both for volume, in terms of the number of reps, but also for recovery. What that means in practice is as the workout progresses, both John and I can make a decision on what we're doing within that recovery and within those number of reps, so that we're being smart with this. This is one of my favorite sessions that John gives me pretty much all year round, and I love that it makes an appearance in the marathon block as well because it's a really fun one. And the idea here isn't just to blast fast reps because I know they're short, it's actually to handle a high volume of reps on the track off pretty short recovery, which is a little bit harder when you have a hill tempo in your legs from the day before, which is something I've never had to deal with before.
So what does John want you to do?
John wants me to do a really chill 1K, like LT1, like 6-minute pace, because last time I did a track session the day after Snowball, I was struggling to break 6-minute pace for like the first few reps. So the idea is this is kind of like a extended warm-up, get that out of the body, and then hopefully I will be able to hit paces. Having done a hilly tempo the day before, my legs might feel a little bit sluggish. So going straight from warm-up and drills and strides into time to smash these 400s can be a little bit jarring. So I went into this 1K straight after the warm-up. I literally changed my shoes and hopped straight in. It's pretty chilled, pretty backed off. I was aiming for around 6:20 minute miling, which is 3:56 for the kilometer, but I actually ended up running 3:42, just 5:54 minute miling. And hearing how I spoke about it, in that I felt pretty rusty at the start, but was able to lean into it, and by the end of it, kind of felt like nothing, shows that that tool is doing its job.
Phily, how did that go?
It was fine. I was a little bit slower than 6:20 pace
Yeah.
at the start, but then I was a bit faster than 6:20 pace at the end. So I guess that's kind of the idea.
So you're happy
Extended warm up.
swinging your
And I
legs?
just got to do 10K worth of 400 reps. When I do this session at altitude, John typically wants me to start at around 81 to 82 seconds per lap, which is pretty much marathon pace. And then as the session progresses, we work our way through the reps gradually. I'm working my way down the whole way through the session to finish roughly around 70 seconds by the end, which in comparison, I suppose is more like 5K pace. And I'd say the challenge with this session is staying smooth throughout those reps, whilst working the pace down, whilst also gathering more and more fatigue in the legs as you progress into the session. And it's always a little bit harder in a marathon block with more volume in your legs, but especially in the week that I'm in this instance, it's kind of asking the body, can I still turn the legs over and push into this session with so much in the legs from the last few days.
Very legit session after a very legit workout session.
Yeah, I felt like maybe the only thing I noticed was the speed was a little
fine.
like slower,
Normal.
but I still like worked down the same kind of rate. I feel like I just normally would have hit like a 69 or something by the end, but
That's fine.
it's no big deal.
No, I think what this opens up is last time we did it, you know, it was just not a baby session, but like a backed off session. This is a full session, right?
Yeah,
So,
I just feel like in a completely different place, to be honest, than 2 weeks ago.
Sure. It's amazing what happens when you don't have COVID and you don't fall.
Well, I didn't have COVID 2 weeks ago. I feel like we've just put in some serious work the last couple of weeks. It's amazing how like I was like chilling till like, I don't know, 17, 18, and then I was like, ooh. 25, happy with that. So as you saw, all things considered, I actually felt pretty good, which tells me I was smart during the uphill tempo on Thursday, because if I wasn't, this would be a different story. And I suppose to drill a little bit more into the reasoning for this session, for marathon prep, it ticks quite a few boxes for me. It keeps the speed system sharp, which you really want to hold on to for good form, but also to help marathon pace feel smoother, more economical, and just easier. And it also really tests recovery under fatigue. And at the end of the day, every time you start a rep, you're like, well, it's only a lap, you know? How bad can it be? So after some more easy running, after the track session and on Saturday, we arrive at Sunday, which of course is long run day. My assignment for Sunday was 20 to 22 miles, and unless these long runs are merged specifically with a workout and I'm doing marathon pace style reps, they are always based on how I feel. If I'm feeling a little bit fatigued going into it, it doesn't feel like the day to push and I just need to get the run done, I can always just take it as an easy long run, time on feet. And let's be real, a lot of the time in the marathon block, that is what the body needs. But if you've got more to give and you're not feeling tired, it's an opportunity. So yeah, it's pretty intuitive. And for the majority of that long run, I'm chilling. We're having a conversation. I'm sat right in the middle of that aerobic zone. We don't want to be balls to the wall for 2.5 hours out there, because that really is another session. But in those last 5 or 6 miles, I checked in with myself. I was still feeling pretty good, and so I just eased it down into the low 6-minute miling and had a little bit of fun. It's fun to push a little bit when you feel good. It's a really good marathon simulation. You're spending a long time on your feet, and you're then asking your body to switch gears and just turn it up a little bit when your legs are probably getting more and more tired towards the end of that run. And off the back of 3 workouts earlier on in the week, it really isn't something I do flippantly, but I do feel really in tune with my body at this point in my career. And whilst that's never going to be perfect, I feel like I can make really good decisions about when to push and when to pull it back a little bit. So I know it might come across as a bit of a risk. Well, you've already done 3 workouts this week, what are you doing? But really, it just felt like a measured decision in the moment. So that was it. 3 workouts and 1 long run in 1 single week. Did I survive? It looks like it. Was it smart? Time will tell. I know I've spotlighted this as a specific experiment, but really, everything we do in training is an experiment. And sometimes it can be scary, but it's also really exciting when you try something new. And I know I'm really excited as the Chicago Marathon draws closer and closer. Now I'm interested. What's the toughest training week you've ever done? Drop them in the comments. I would love to hear what your idea of Type A fun is. And make sure you're subscribed if you want to find out how this all comes together on October the 12th in Chicago. Love the grind.